Censorship vids are always really fun. It's always a fun conversation for how, you know, America views content versus basically the rest of the world. Our networking companies are very America-centered. I mean, they just like, they don't like to acknowledge the fact that other places fucking exist and that they are different and that it's okay to learn about them and that we would still find them entertaining when we do. And I think that's why there's such a huge influx of people who are really enjoying anime, because you're just getting such another view of things that just aren't so, you know, formed for television. You know what I mean? It's just like such a different raw type of entertainment that you just don't get in American shows. Especially like animations that they do in America, or just become boring, you know. So let's check it out, dude. I love this. You see, Pokemon is like the first one. This is always one people start with, but it seems like it's quite a long video, so there should be a lot of different changes in here that we haven't seen before. Like that didn't work. I'm looking forward to seeing some stuff that we haven't seen. Of course, the Pokemon one we have seen, but it's just like such a bold decision. Like, we weren't gonna fucking notice when we got older. When I was a kid, though, I had no idea. Because, of course, they don't serve rice balls anywhere where I live at, you know, but, anyways.
To make it more kid-friendly. Some were done for pretty obvious reasons, like taking out anything sexual relating to Misty, but others are just straight up baffling. Apparently, for kids, the producing studio behind the English dub didn't know what rice was. Either that or...
They didn't know what rice was. That's just... Apparently, they've never had rice before. To care.
Our money's on the latter, and it makes the episode where Brock and the team call food that's clearly meant to be rice balls jelly donuts over and over again, almost laughably bad upon rewatching.
You know what this reminds me of, though, is when I was a kid, I watched this, and I don't like jelly donuts. I don't like filled donuts. But I remember I bothered my mom for jelly donuts, and she kept telling me that I don't like jelly donuts, but I remember seeing that and being like, that looks really good to me. I love rice, but, you know, whatever.
They don't even attempt to reanimate the scenes with actual jelly.
Well, hello there. How are you beautiful sons of bitches doing? It's your boy Chavez here. Feeling a little allergenic today, so please forgive me if I die on camera. Let's continue. Oh my God.
Donuts in the character's hands. You know that one place you go when you die, when you've really been bad? That's right, it's the home for infinite losers. At least that's what Dragon Ball Z wants you to think.
The guy's shirt says hell. We can see it.
Popular anime has seen a lot of changes when it was adapted over to America, including things like significantly cutting down the violence and blood from its epic fights. Even though there were a lot of alterations and edits, perhaps the most humorous and memorable change is Goku falling off of Snake Way and landing in an extremely watered-down version of Hell. Instead of Hell, the show changed its name to Hiffle instead, an abbreviation for Home for Infinite Losers, which, let's be honest, sounds like a much worse place to go. It's hard to imagine Yu-Gi-Oh! Without thinking of the dreaded Shadow Realm.
Hey, send his ass to the Shadow Realm. Still one of the funniest memes out there.
Dark dimension where souls could be sent for all of eternity. But surprisingly, the entire concept of the Shadow Realm was made up for the English dub of the card-playing anime to replace the instances where anyone, you know, died for real.
What? Really? That's not real?
It was a way to make the show a little more digestible for young kids. And it was just one of the many ways Yu-Gi-Oh! Was changed from its darker, more mature roots. Some of these changes were more noticeable than...
I like this scene in the thing, by the way. One of the greatest ones of all time. Helped with my obsession with necromancers in video games.
How can we forget the time Kaiba was confronted by two bad guys who threateningly pointed their fingers at him, forcing Kaiba to jump out of a window? Well, it was a little different in the original version, which had the men have actual guns rather than just their fingers.
Damn, they toting gats in Japan,
but it's pretty hilarious to think that Kaiba risked almost certain death to escape a finger point.
What up, bitch?
An entire video could be made revolving around the many censorship changes the popular and long-running classic One Piece anime went through,
which we've seen before. The entire one.
Over to America, oftentimes to hilarious results. Some great examples include Full Body, the grape juice expert who tries to impress everybody with his ability to tell the year and vineyard a particular bottle of expensive grape juice came from. Sanji's crippling lollipop addiction, and the baffling decision to replace almost every dangerous weapon into something outlandish and silly. like using a shovel as a gun, or having the Navy use what appeared to be water guns instead of actual weapons. They seemed to want to avoid any sort of potential backlash or complaints, and the English dub even went as far as changing darker skin tones to lighter ones.
With One Piece with some of the violence changes, because the show is always so weird. Violence wise, I can see where you could tone back. Social changes, that's just for views and ratings, obviously, but it makes it so much more intriguing than when you see the original work, I think, personally. And smoking, to be honest, is like really fucking cool when a lot of characters do it. You ever seen Graves, the guy from League of Legends? Cool motherfucker with a cigarette, man. Shows where you want dramatic effect, just that smoke coming up, you know, as they're like talking shit, you know what I mean, or taking a puff. Shoot this nigga, you know what I mean? That shit just be cool sometimes.
To avoid any potential claims of racism in its depiction of certain characters, which, if you look at the original, is probably the best move.
I mean, they are a little bit, but still, it's fine.
Sailor Moon remains one of the most popular anime of all time, thanks in no small part to its strong, likable female lead characters, and for its believable portrayal of female friendship. Sure, the fights are pretty cool, but nothing beats moments like Sailor Moon bantering back and forth with Sailor Mars. The show also
so fucking boring.
Earned a lot of popularity.
I like that nigga with the cape though. That dude's cool as
and
fuck.
Respect for its handling of the relationship between Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus. But that relationship was considered a big red flag to American producers.
He's making like a lot of references, and I kind of just wanted him to tell me what the fuck is going on, because I don't know a lot of this shit.
So they went.
Are they gay? Are they together? That's her girl? Why would they steal that from her? That's fucked up.
And changed things up for the English dub.
Niggas.
Instead of having them as lovers, the English dub suggested that Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus were actually just cousins who were super close with each other.
Cousins? That's your solution? She can't have her bitch that gotta be her cousin? That's fucked up. Chavez disagrees. I don't know if he was asking Chavez for Chavez's opinion, but Chavez disagrees with that shit. That's
in
fucked up.
Cardcaptor Sakura, the 10-year-old Sakura discovers a book that, when opened, releases a series of magical cards out in the world.
Yo, that shit went kind of hard, bro.
And must find a way to collect them all. It's a straightforward story, but
my mom didn't let us watch that shit because my mom's like really weird about like summonings and like voodoo and shit like that. And she said that reminded her of like card readings and palm readings and shit. So my mom was like, not for this. But that show was lit. I like that show.
She wouldn't necessarily understand that from the English dub. In an effort to make the show more appealing to boys, the English version changed the name to just Cardcaptors, and then proceeded to air the episodes out of order to focus more on the ensemble cast rather than just the main character Sakura.
Is that why that show is so fucking confusing? Y'all should stop doing that and just show them in order. You mean they do it on purpose? Why? Why would you do that to us?
The very first episode aired in America was number 8 in Japan. If that wasn't bad enough, the American version proceeded to cut out all references and examples of LGBT relationships in the show, and changed them to just close, friendly relationships. Say that Ghost Stories was
fucked up, man.
For American audiences is perhaps the biggest understatement of all time. It's actually a funny story.
That show was bad. The Ghost Story shit was bad.
The original, serious anime was about a group of kids fighting ghosts, but it was a major flop in Japan. They gave the dubbing rights over to ADV Films, and although there were
ruined it more.
The dubbing company was given almost complete creative freedom, and were allowed to do whatever they wanted. Deciding to have fun with it, ADV Films let their voice cast ad-lib and goof around for a whole lot of their lines.
Wow.
Meaning the once serious anime basically turned into a parody of itself, with offensive, politically incorrect characters who weren't afraid to insult their own animation style, or even criticize the anime cliches in their own story. Remember how Shadow the Hedgehog was all moody?
Dang, we probably should check out some moments of that shit then. Like, I didn't like it when I was younger, but we should probably check that shit out. We're gonna stop there. We're gonna take this into a part 2, mostly because I have to run outside for a moment, and the camera battery's dying, so it's the perfect moment for us to leave. I know I died for a portion of time in there, so forgive that. And also, patrons, don't worry, we're gonna update the patron list. Remember, Skitten was sick. All these videos that had come up to this point were not updated. They were just shot all at once. I just spread them out across a week because Skitten wasn't feeling well again. So we had to fix that, go to the doctor and get a bunch of prescriptions and shit. What other updates do we have? P.O. Box is changing. Thank you guys for... So we had to fix that, go to the doctor and get a bunch of prescriptions and shit. What other updates do we have? P.O. Box is changing. Thank you guys for sending us a ton of gifts and sending a lot of support and love our way. But we do have to change that P.O. Box number. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. I'll be right back.